Graduates, in ordinary times, at the beginning of commencement, Augsburg's faculty would form a tunnel and applaud you as you process to your seats. It is an Augsburg tradition, not unlike the tunnel that we form to welcome our new incoming students at opening convocation every fall. These are not ordinary times, as we all know. And yet, in this moment, the Augsburg faculty have joined together to honor your accomplishments and their pride in your achievements with their applause. Congratulations, class of 2020. Here are your faculty.
Though we gather virtually for this 2020 commencement ceremony, we are still bound to the land on which Augsburg University resides. We acknowledge that our learning and teaching have been rooted to the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe and Dakota people who lived on and cared for this place as their ancestral land. We acknowledge this reality as a campus community and seek to honor the Native people who have and continue to shape our life together. My name is Pastor Justin Lindares. I serve as one of the university pastors, and I invite you to open your hearts to join me and my colleague, Fardosa Hassan, in our joint prayer of invocation. In our gathering, Holy God, you are present. As graduates are honored in this hour, we celebrate your presence in their lives through the love and support of parents and siblings, partners, family members and dear friends, mentors and teachers, professors and coaches, and other community partners. We are grateful for all who have made this moment possible. Support and strengthen these graduates, O compassionate one, as they journey forth in these unprecedented times. May they know your guidance. In their acts of justice, may they know that they are your instruments. In their concerns and fears, may they know your peace. And in their faithful serving, may they know your steadfast love. Sustain them as they go forth this day, tending to the needs of the neighbor. This I pray, trusting in your tender mercy. Amen.
Assalamu alaikum. May peace be upon you. Ramadan Mubarak. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmani Ar-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Amen. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. Praise be to God, the Lord of the universe, most gracious, most merciful, Master of the day of judgment. You alone we worship. You alone we ask for help. Guide us in the right path, the path of those whom you have blessed, and not those who have been provoke your anger, or those who are straight. Amen.
Hello, and welcome. I am Karen Kaivola, Provost and Chief Academic Officer at Augsburg University. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to Augsburg's virtual commencement ceremony for the graduates of 2020. This year, we celebrate the accomplishments of 440 graduating seniors in Augsburg's traditional undergraduate program. 117 students in the adult undergraduate degree completion program, and 330 students in doctoral and master's programs. Altogether, that's 887 Augies who have completed requirements for undergraduate and graduate degrees. To all the families and friends of these graduates who are watching, I extend a special welcome. I also welcome members of the faculty and staff, members of the Augsburg University Board of Regents, and our faculty emeriti. A special welcome to the friends and families of our international students whose countries and sovereign nations are symbolized by the flags behind me. Thank you all for joining us for this milestone event in the lives of all students who are part of the graduating class of 2020. That we celebrate the accomplishments of these graduates virtually in no way diminishes our recognition of what they have achieved, and we have planned this ceremony to ensure that we recognize them as they deserve to be recognized. And yes, we also look forward to a future date when it is again safe to gather together in person. We will then celebrate this class again. It is an Augsburg commencement tradition to recognize retiring faculty members who, after many years of dedicated service to our students and the university, are joining the ranks of retired faculty honored with the title Professor Emeritus. Each has been recommended by their department and approved by the Board of Regents for Professor Emeritus status, an honor that confers special privileges in recognition of distinguished and meritorious service to the university. Today, we honor 6 faculty with this recognition. John Cerrito, Department of Business Administration. Mark Fuhrer, Department of Philosophy. Nancy Rodenberg, Department of Social Work. Michael Schock, Department of Social Work. Martha Stortz, Bernard M. Christensen, Professor of Religion and Vocation, and Mark Tranvik, Department of Religion. Congratulations to our new faculty emeriti. At each commencement, we lift up one aspect of Augsburg's mission statement in a distinctive way. This year, however, is special. This commencement falls in the midst of Augsburg's sesquicentennial, our celebration of our 150th year. It seems appropriate then to focus this year on a moment in the university's history, a moment that was an inflection point, one that resonates still, impacting the lives of our students, our mission, and the character of our campus to this day. The moment I'm speaking of took place in May 1968, in the aftermath of the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and the political, cultural, and social upheaval that followed. It happened at Augsburg, and it was called One Day in May. You'll hear more and see more about One Day in May, its impact, and the lessons it offers for us even today throughout this ceremony. It is now my pleasure to invite President Paul Pribenow to the podium.
I would like to add my warm welcome to all of you gathered here virtually today on this proud occasion. It's one of the great joys of my role as president to participate in the various moments in the life of the university wherein we honor and celebrate the accomplishments of our students. You are, of course, the reason we have existed for 150 years, and we are proud of all of you. The Marina Christensen Justice Award is given to one member of the senior class whose actions, commitments, and future aspirations most profoundly exemplify Augsburg's motto, education for service. During their time at Augsburg, the student must have demonstrated a dedication to the kind of community involvement characterized by the personal and professional life of Marina Christensen Justice, who courageously and effectively reached out to disadvantaged people and communities. It is my pleasure to announce that Abdul Qadir Sharif is this year's Marina Christensen Justice Award recipient. Abdul has majored in international relations and political science and is passionate about making a difference at the local, national, and international level. Throughout his time at Augsburg, he served as a lead fellow, studied in Tanzania and Namibia, and demonstrated significant leadership. He has gained knowledge from his experience, brings energy and empathy to his relationships, and is committed to building a better world through work in international development, international education, and public policy. Just recently, we learned that Abdul has also been named a Fulbright Fellow and will be teaching English next year in Malaysia. Congratulations, Abdul. The Richard J. Toney Award is given to one member of the graduating class whose actions, commitments, and future aspirations most profoundly represent the commitment to community, hospitality, and innovation that are the hallmarks of Rick Toney, who was the founding director of the Weekend College, now the Adult Undergraduate Program, and our Rochester campus programs. This year's recipient of the Richard J. Toney Award is Jeru Gobiz. Jeru is an MSW graduate with a concentration in multicultural macro practice. Besides being a stellar student, Jeru demonstrates great passion for social justice, equity, and inclusion. Through her internship at the Institute to Transform Child Protection, she conducted research and policy analysis in the area of child welfare to better inform the multi-pronged approaches used to create a more equitable child protection system. She identified trends and best practices to inform policy recommendations and advocated for policies that would work to eliminate disparities in child protection. Jeru has also engaged with social work faculty to suggest approaches to develop racially just pedagogical experiences for students of color. She is a passionate advocate who is committed to creating justice and equity in systems and institutions. Congratulations, Jeru. As Provost Kaivola noted in her welcome, this year we reflect in a special way on one day in May in 1968 as part of our sesquicentennial celebrations. On May 15, 1968, classes were canceled, and the Augsburg community was encouraged to participate in a series of workshops and lectures led by Augsburg faculty as well as local Black community leaders. Some of these community leaders discussed racism, politics, and power, racism and education, and violence versus nonviolence. The day's impact on students and the Augsburg community was profound, and the consequences reverberate forward in the subsequent history of this place. Our guests being presented with honorary degrees today, the Honorable Lejeune Thomas Lang and Elder Mahmoud El Khati, were leaders on that day and in the activism that followed. During the spring semester of 2020, members of the Augsburg community embarked on a journey to lift up the important story of one day in May as part of our sesquicentennial celebrations. They began an art-driven campaign led by Black voices and other people of color. The 6820 notation references the historic 1968 episode and its ever-relevant implications for 2020 and beyond. They've prepared a short video that I'm now so pleased to share with you.
My name is Lejeune Johnson, and as a member of the steering committee for One Day in May, who at the request of the president have slaved for almost a month trying to put across a program that we hope will not end on May 15th, 1968. I'm not going to stand back and let these people say that we have to learn after we get out of Augsburg, because we're not going to pay $1,200 a year to hear the stuff that that's not relevant to us as human beings, because you go to college to further your knowledge, not to be whitewashed. Now, President Anderson will sit in his office and tell me he believes in black power, and then he'll come out here and say that we don't know what to do, we can't decide now, and we don't want to move too fast, and be peaceful, and all this kind of stuff. Now, we've got to have at least some positive approaches to the problem. Curriculum can't change overnight. I think everybody is realistic enough to know. But if the Board of Education, which has control over more people, can say that by September we will have books by black people, black Americans in the English classes as required reading, that Malcolm X will have, with parental permission, that students will have a day off for him, and to recognize the contributions of all minority groups for all the schools in Minneapolis, and Augsburg's the only four-year liberal arts college in Minneapolis with 50% of its teachers graduating, supposed to be going out to educate, and they're not aware of this, you can't be doing the function that you're supposed to.
Education is not merely a matter of training the mind. Training makes for efficiency, but it does not bring about completeness. A mind that has merely been trained is the confrontation of the past, continuation of the past. And such a mind can never discover the new. That is why, to find out what is right education, we will have to inquire into the whole significance of living. To most of us, the meaning of life as a whole is not of primary importance, and our education emphasizes secondary values, merely making us proficient in some branch of knowledge. Though knowledge and efficiency are necessary, to lay chief emphasis on them only leads to conflict and confusion. There is an efficiency inspired by love. I'm sorry I mentioned that word. Love, yeah, which goes far beyond and is much greater than the efficiency of ambition. And without love, which brings an integrated understanding of life, efficiency breeds ruthlessness. Is this not what is actually taking place all over the country today? Our present education is geared to industrialization and war, and I don't think that can be denied. Its principal aim is being developed toward efficiency, and we are caught in this machine of ruthless competition and mutual destruction. If education leads to war, if it teaches us to destroy or to be destroyed, has it not utterly failed? To bring about right education, we must obviously understand the meaning of life as a whole. The function of education is to create human beings who are integrated and therefore intelligent. We have made examinations and degrees the criterion of intelligence and have developed cunning minds that avoid vital issues in our lives. Intelligence is the capacity to perceive the essential, the what is, and to awaken the capacity in oneself and in others. That's education.
Hello, I'm Darcy Engen, Professor of Theater and co-chair of the university's sesquicentennial celebration. It is my privilege and pleasure to present the Honorable LeJune Thomas Lang, class of 1975, for the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. LeJune has been recommended by the faculty and approved by the Board of Regents for this honor. LeJune served a distinguished career as judge in the 4th Judicial District in Minnesota. She is president of the International Leadership Institute and has been a vital member of Augsburg University's Board of Regents since 2010. It is difficult and perhaps impossible to think of a single person who has been instrumental to such key moments in the life of our institution as Lejeune Thomas Lang has been. During One Day in May, leaders, including Augsburg student Lejeune Thomas Lang, passionately and powerfully called Augsburg to account on matters of systemic inequality, racism, and power. That boldness and fierce hope in a better tomorrow calls us here today in the midst of a global pandemic and economic instability. With the proven wisdom and tenacity of Lejeune Thomas Lang and others as our guides, we recommit to the pursuit of true social justice and partnership with our neighbors to create the kind of robust and equitable society envisioned by Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. President Pribenow, graduates, and guests, I am honored to present Lejeune Thomas Lang as candidate for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters.
Thank you, Darcy. Lejeune Thomas Lang, I hereby confer upon you the degree Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa with our deep gratitude for your remarkable demonstration of leadership to our students and to our communities. Congratulations.
Hello, I'm Hannah Dinku, Director of Augsburg's Pan-African Center. It is my privilege and pleasure to present Elder Mahmoud El-Khati for the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. Mahmoud has been recommended by the faculty and approved by the Board of Regents for this honor. Mahmoud is Professor Emeritus of History at Macalester College in St. Paul, Minnesota. He was one of the founding professors of the African and African American Studies Department at the University of Minnesota, and he was influential in the development of the Pan-African Conference at Minnesota State University in Mankato. As a longstanding activist, author, speaker, he has provided outstanding leadership in community educational efforts with organizations around the Twin Cities, including Augsburg University Pan-African Center. Mahmoud El-Khati was one of the community leaders who spoke during One Day in May in 1968, challenging Augsburg and the broader community to examine its practices and reflect on the racism embedded in the education system. Augsburg is propelled and invigorated by the example of Mahmoud El-Khati, who helped shape this institution then and continues to inspire us to thoughtful and just action today, when we must again ask, where do we go from here? We recognize in him an Augie spirit that fuses critical thinking and responsible leadership with a resilient courage to speak and act in the face of oppression and apathy amid the backdrop of challenging and transforming times. President Pribenow, graduates, and guests, I am honored to present Mahmoud El-Khati as a candidate for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters.
Thank you, Hannah. Mahmoud El-Khati, I hereby confer upon you the degree Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa with our deep gratitude for your powerful example of leadership that continues to be needed in our world today. Congratulations. We now move to the presentation of our graduates and their accomplishments. I am very pleased to provide you with an overview of student academic honors, those who, according to their final cumulative grade point averages, will receive Latin honors, those who have completed the requirements for the university's honors program or the requirements for departmental honors, and those who are members of a national or international honor society. Congratulations to each of you. Academic degrees are conferred upon completion of all requirements. For some of you, that was last fall. For many others, it was May 1st. And for others, it may be a date yet this summer or fall. Today, we acknowledge the completion of your degree requirements. Doctoral and master's degree recipients will be presented first by their program, alphabetically by last name. Then the undergraduate students will be presented alphabetically by last name. Please join me now as we watch and always learn from our graduates. That was wonderful. And now, by virtue of the authority entrusted in me by the faculty and Board of Regents of Augsburg University, and upon nomination by the faculty, I confer upon you who have completed the requirements for the degrees Doctor of Nursing Practice, Master of Arts, Master of Business Administration, Master of Fine Arts, Master of Music Therapy, Master of Social Work, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Music, Bachelor of Science. Bachelor's degree graduates, if you have not already done so, please now move the tassel on your mortarboard from right to the left. This symbolizes not only your accomplishments at Augsburg, but your readiness as a university graduate for the challenges that lie ahead. Congratulations. I welcome all of today's graduating students to the proud company of Augsburg graduates, folks throughout the world who live out the deep links between education, faith, and service to neighbor. Congratulations to all of you.
Augsburg University is located on land originally inhabited by people of the Anishinaabe and Dakota nations. In recognition of that past and of all the indigenous peoples across North America, it has become a tradition to include an honor song in our commencement ceremonies. The honor song is performed by Redbone, a local American Indian drum group comprised of singers from the Ho-Chunk, Lakota, and Ojibwe nations. They are a group of professionals who came together as singers, role models, and mentors to improve conditions for youth in the Twin Cities American Indian community. While the circumstances of the day find us unable to have Redbone join us, we want to acknowledge the gift and the power, both of their performance and of their work in our local communities. I now welcome Matt Intenza, Chair of the Augsburg Board of Regents, who will greet you as our newest Augie alumni.
It is a great pleasure to join you today, even virtually. And on this joyous occasion, I want to congratulate you on your graduation and to officially welcome you to the Augsburg University Alumni Association. This is your connection to your alma mater. You are now part of a strong network of more than 26,000 Augsburg alumni who live across the state, the nation, and the world. Remember, your commitment to Augsburg does not end today with your graduation. And likewise, our commitment to you continues long after you graduate. Again, congratulations on your graduation. Each of you have a very exciting future ahead of you. And again, welcome to the proud ranks of Augsburg University alumnus.
We live in challenging and tumultuous times. As you go forth from your education at Augsburg, I hope you will bring with you the spirit of one day in May and the persistence and the courage to work together for a better world. To that end, as our commencement exercises come to a close, I offer this charge to our graduates, the Augsburg University class of 2020. May you always be good learners, sharing your education and intellectual curiosity with a world that so needs your insight and understanding, your commitment to lifelong learning, and your willingness to take risks in service to the human estate. May you always be good citizens, individuals who join together with fellow travelers on the road of democracy to create a more just and humane world, and who follow in the footsteps of our thousands of graduates of this university dedicated to making a difference in the world. And above all, may you always be good and faithful people, people who recognize that the many gifts you have been given, gifts of education and friendship and opportunity, demand of you that you be a good steward in the world, taking care of all that has been entrusted to us. Congratulations, keep in touch, keep in faith. We're all immensely proud of you and will watch with great anticipation as you commence your lives in the world as graduates of Augsburg University. God keep you.
I, too, offer my congratulations to today's graduates. We're so very proud of each of you, and we know that you will continue to make a difference in the world as you meet the world's needs wherever life takes you. I now invite all of today's graduates, wherever you might be as you watch this ceremony, to take a moment to thank those faculty, staff, family members, and friends who have supported you and contributed to your success at Augsburg University. Perhaps you could send a word of thanks, applaud, or maybe even send a tweet. Today's ceremony will come to a close with a benediction offered by Pastor Babette Chapman.
Receive this benediction blessing. Creator of all that is, bless and approve our offering here today for the Augsburg University graduating class of 2020. May you, divine, who has begun this great work in them, continue it through to completion. May their lives be blessed from this day forward. Bless them with clear direction. Enable them to use your gifts and talents wisely to the benefit of others to the fullest. May they strive toward excellence in all they do. May they celebrate and lift up those around them. May their voices rise up to pronounce peace and justice in the world. May their achievements grow and enrich their communities. And bless them to make a difference in the world through their education, their faith, their service, and great love to their neighbors. We pray that you, O God, would give them boldness and courage to face challenges set before them with the confidence and peace that came only from you. Now and forever, grace be with them, grace be with us all. Amen.